Hi, this is Laurie from Interior Design Community, and I'm here with Nile. Hi, Nile.
Hi.
And we have a really fun show for you today. We're really going to talk about some things we've done, some things we're doing, some things Interior Design Community is doing. It's very exciting. Are you excited, Nile?
I'm very excited. Yeah, super excited.
So we'll start with High Point Market. We came back from High Point Market. Interior Design Community was busy. We had probably 2 panels a day on a daily basis all through market. Parties. We had get together at Curry and Company, one of our sponsors. We had a tour, and we were back to back all
Yeah,
market. But it was a really great market. What did you think, Niall?
it was an awesome market. Like it was a good time. Like it didn't feel like I know going into it, we were like, oh my gosh, there's a
I know
lot.
we overbooked.
But yeah, but it didn't feel like it never felt like, oh, at least I didn't. I never felt like I was dreading it. I was always anticipating, even to the point like when I was on a panel and you would get to me to ask me a question, I'd be like, because I was so into the other people you had on the panel and their answers. So when you would ask me a question, I'm still processing these amazing answers they had. And I'm like, oh, I got to write that down. I got to remember that. So I'm like, wait, what was the question again? So yeah, no, a good time. It was really a good time.
It was. And there we were learning a lot. We covered coaching. And the reason we did that was because we've been seeing so many different new coaches, not to begrudge new coaches from coming into
That's
the
right.
interior design industry. We wanted people to be armed with what to look for, what to make sure they're making the right investment.
Yep.
If they decided to get a coach, we covered contracts, closing sales, like how the sales process works for interior designers. We covered logistics. We covered how you can get really great clients from like everyday clients with damn good designer. So there were lots of really great conversations that people took away with it from it. Plus, we had some fantastic get-togethers. We were hanging out with My Doma. We hung out with Crabbit. We hung out with our IDC crew, which was the best by far,
Yes.
right?
Not to be biased, but
Not to be
honestly.
biased, not to be biased, but that was really fun. And we walked away with a ton of knowledge and a lot of connections and a lot of like people interested in coming onto the podcast, which will be very exciting in the future. Some
Yeah.
great ideas about what we can do to help improve the design industry. We talked to a lot of designers one-on-one to find out what it is they were looking for from the community. As some people probably know listening, we have become a nonprofit, Interior Design Community. Our goal entirely is to improve the lives of interior designers. So a lot of that is what can we provide for tools for designers to make their businesses stronger? What can we do to advocate for designers with brands? What can we do to educate the market? It's a lot of different things that we're trying to
Yeah.
accomplish at once, which is great because we have a lot of work to do and these are not easy things to overcome. One of the things we launched, and I know you saw it, was a DIY PR guide for interior designers, which you're going to be able to get on the website. We have it on interiordesigncommunity.com. You can just sign up for it. It's free download. And it's like 26 pages. We worked with one of the best PR agencies in the country for interior design, the
Oh,
Hut Group.
really?
I know Jocelyn's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
And
really good.
it is really good. It goes through literally step by step how you can attack the idea of getting your own PR. So you want to get press as an interior designer, highly recommend you download that. We have sent it out to our email list and our subscribers, but we've also sent it out to all the new people we're trying to get in to subscribe. And I can tell you, it's our most popular thing that we've done so far. We've been getting
Yeah,
so many hits on the website from it. It's
it's
been
good.
very popular.
It's
So
really good.
it
Yeah.
is so good. And I can tell you, we were like, this is so good. We need to syndicate it. We talked to NKBA about sending it out. We've talked to Interior Design Society. We thought they were just going to use it as a lead magnet, and they've decided to use it as a member benefit as well, which is amazing. So it's evergreen. It's
Nice.
there for a long time. We talked to My Doma. They want to use it. This is
It's
a big
good.
hit. This is a big
No,
hit.
I was like, only an email for all this? This is so good. Really, really
Good.
good. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
great
yeah,
information and it
yeah,
really needs to be there for a long time. So we want to make sure that we're getting this information out to designers because there's a lot of resources in there. There's a
yeah,
lot of like tangible step-by-step instructions and how you really can own like local press, what you can do for your own website, how you can collaborate with like local business owners, and how you can help boost your own SEO and your own for your own site too. In
Yeah.
addition, like all of this is about press and how
Yeah.
you can get really attain those luxury clients. So I thought it was really fantastic. And we're already on to the next one, which is going to be released in December. And that one is going to be, and I think I sent that over to you too. It's going to be like a checklist of everything you need to do for your business, like closing end of business for the
Wow.
year and starting to plan for the next year. So you're planning for 2025, all the things you really should be reviewing at the end of January or the end of December. So your financials, your website, your contract, your social media plan, your marketing plan, like all of these and it's step by step instruction, like checklists almost. Like here's the things you need to go over for this. Here's the things you need to go over for this. You might be giving bonuses or raises to employees or gifts to clients and things like that. So we have a good overview of all these like things that we all have on our plate at the end of the year that we have to think about so that you can go through it and go, oh, yeah, this is a great reminder. This is a great, because there's always going to be, because that list is long, there
Yeah.
are so many things to forget.
Yeah. No.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
you want to make sure you're doing everything that you need to do to make sure your business is organized. And so this is like a great little organizational tool. And we will be starting to send that out December 1st and put it up on the website so that it'd be available for a free download, get it out to everybody again, because it's such a great resource. So
That's a really great resource because it's easy to forget with the holidays. Even if you yourself don't celebrate, I'm sure as designers, you're busy. Maybe your clients are celebrating or they're doing something that's centered around a holiday or holidays. And so you're busy trying to accommodate that. And so it's really easy to get lost in the shuffle, whether it's
it is.
holidays or school concerts or whatever. Unfortunately, that's stuff, your business stuff gets pushed to the back burner. So
Yeah.
having something concrete with a list, like, that's good for me, like a
Yes.
checklist that I
Yes.
can always go back to. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
need
then you
that.
can what is done, what is not done, you cross off the things that, "Oh, no, I've
Yeah,
done." You can literally print it, it's 12
yeah,
pages, print it, literally
yeah.
cross things off, done this. "Oh, you know what? I really should get the editorial calendar for next year for the local home magazine because I wanna get published in that magazine, and so I need to know what their media kit looks like for the next year so that their editorial calendar looks like, so I can pitch the right way." Things like that,
Yeah,
like, you just might not it's a quick email, you should do it. We know you should do it, but it
yeah,
falls off when you've got so many things to do,
yep,
that's something that easily can fall off the radar. And things like checking your website, making sure your terms and conditions change over to the new year so that you're copyrighted for the new year, making sure that you are getting the proper information to your accountant to close out the end of the year for your taxes. It's a lot of checklist stuff
all
that
that stuff.
we need to
Yeah,
be really thinking about, and I thought it would be great to have that in one spot where designers could just look at it, go through it, quickly delegate if they need to delegate to their team to get the things done. And then we'll start January with another one that is going to be fantastic, which is going to be a pre-planned idea calendar for designers for everything that they need to think about for marketing to their clients for the next year. So it's going to be
oh,
like,
wow.
I did 100 fears, 100 frustrations, 100 desires of an interior design
Nice.
client. And then I turned
Yeah.
that into tons of ideas for videos, social media posts, email content
Nice.
for designers to just take that as a big list. They can just literally pick from this huge list and just do one of them and schedule them in bit by
Wow.
bit. And it's done for them.
Yeah,
Their whole editorial calendar could be done for the year in January. And that's really the goal so that everybody gets really organized. So it's this marketing thing that just takes up so much time for designers is like working on working automated. So it's working in the background, but you're not having to think about it every single day. You can just pepper it
yeah,
in with like your actual personality and
yeah.
things are going good. So that's the plan. And we have so many of those in the works. We've got a great one for AI, productivity. We've got a great one in the works that is going to be about all the legal stuff you need to know for your business. So how to start a business. We're even gonna have one Nile, this is going to be exciting. That this is going to be different. I don't think anybody's ever done this, but we're going to do one that is really a guide for clients that for you to hand to a client so that they can understand how you work. So
Mm,
it's a giveaway for you, but it's really for you to give away to your client. This is the process of how interior designers work. It's going to be a full guide of this is what it's like to work with an interior designer. These are the things that typically happen. These are the things, and it's just already done. And we're going
nice.
to allow you guys to brand that yourselves with your own
Oh,
branding
that's
too.
nice.
I think that's going to be
That's
fantastic.
yeah, no, that's really good.
Yeah, because why
That's
not? It's very serious how this process, and we want that
and
process
it
to break.
keeps
Yeah.
sort of puts everybody at the same
Yes.
yeah, which I
Yes.
think is good, which I think is good.
Right. And
Yeah,
you could just
yeah.
hand it over like this is with the contract as part of the welcome packet. Like this is how what a product typically looks like. This is what
Or even prior to that, even before you do any of that, even if after you have an
you
inquiry
can have as a free
call.
download on your site too.
Yeah,
Like
because in that way,
absolutely.
you don't waste any time. They already
Yeah.
know what to expect, and it's, "I gave you that document. This is" so now you know what you're getting into, and
Yes.
it's yeah, yeah,
And we
yeah.
put out a question to the community and we asked interior designers what they wish clients would know. And that's how we gathered a lot of the information. So we have tons of great quotes in there from that we're working on for from interior designers directly. This is what I would love to be in. I would wish this is all the information that designers wish clients knew before they were started working with you. So that's going to be really
Oh,
exciting, I
that's
think.
awesome. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Yeah,
That's gonna
yeah.
be great.
So
Yeah.
those are some of the things in the works. And then for events going forward too, I did come back from, as you know, from LA. I went to go visit a company called Roland DJA. They are a printer manufacturer. And there it was really fascinating. Jeannie Chung, the designer in California, Cozy Stylish, she was there too. Jamie Derringer from Design Milk, who is the founder of Design Milk, was there.
Mhm.
A few other designers that I didn't know as well were there. And we got to have kind of a behind the scenes look at the printer. It's really neat. It does this thing where it prints the color on this material, the special material, but it
Mhm.
it also prints this additive, and the additive makes it stay flat. And then everywhere where the additive isn't, it puffs up through heat.
Oh,
So it
wow.
is an eco-friendly material, but it can be very textured. And so it has a bumpy feel to it. It feels like embossed almost.
Oh, wow.
And they had versions that were metallic, silvers, gold. They had the greeny pinky sort of material that kind of it looks green or pink depending on where you're looking at it. It
Mhm.
had a pearlescent material, which I could tell was absolutely their most popular. And then they had these other versions that were a little bit like they puff a little bit more. And you can use those for you can paint on them is to make a very like dramatic texture and then paint over it and then wipe it, or you can
Mhm.
take it and just paint at the top of the texture. We played around with that for a while. It was really cool. We were all painting and we were doing it in their offices, and that
Oh,
was
wow.
really fun. And then we were looking at the different samples, and you can also make a cast to out of the because it's so deep, you could make a cast out of it and then put concrete in it so that it has this you can make art with it. It's just
Oh,
it was
wow.
really fascinating, and we talked to some of their print guys who are already using it for, like, sound panels,
Oh,
which is fascinating, and then they're getting into a cloth version,
that's kinda
and they
cool.
are already being sold at through Wall Stops. So you guys can check out Wall Snobs to get the material now to try it out. But I'm guaranteeing you this material is going to be everywhere. Within a couple of years, you're going to see it in major companies. It is really fascinating. And it was so fascinating that when I flew out of LA, I flew to New York. We went to BDNY in New York. I got to see some great designers there. We had dinner, we had some drinks with some different designers, and the Roland booth won the award for the most innovative wallpaper while we were there.
Wow.
That was fascinating.
Wow.
That was really exciting. And I was like, this just shows it. And that's obviously to the luxury hotel market, that show, but the luxury hotel market, the designers, they're all on the same page about quality of materials.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see. Going to see what happens on that front. I'm definitely keeping my eye on them.
It sounds
And
super cool.
it was really cool. And then, so those were the two big exciting things that happened this past week. And then now we have in the works the events we have going forward. And our events in January are we will be at Maison and Objet, and we'll probably be walking the show. So if you are planning on going, please drop us a line so you can reach out. We'd love to get together and see our IDC members in Paris. Nile will be there too.
I will.
And there will be going to a party in Paris with Bear Paint is putting on a fabulous party for interior designers, and you'll hear more about that. That's going to be really exciting.
Cool.
And we're also going to be, Nile and I are judges for the Kansas City Design Magazine, Design KC Magazine, which is fantastic. I don't know. Have you gotten your assignment yet?
No, I don't
You
think so.
haven't?
I've been watching.
You might have gotten it in your email. Check because
Okay,
I
I'll have
got
to check.
mine.
When did you get it today?
I got it, I believe, yesterday. So
Double check.
I've already finished my judging.
Oh, have you?
Yes, I'm
All right.
way
Well,
ahead of the game.
I was hoping because I wanted to like do it this week, like this weekend. I
And
have
what
this
I
weekend
do
like
is
earmarked.
I print out all the printouts, and then there are these forms of how to. They're
Yeah.
very thoughtful. The way I love Design KC Magazine and Keith Cerno and Andrea. I just think that they're a really fantastic team, but they really, it's up. We take it very seriously in the judging. I make sure that I'm reading all the stories. I'm looking at every single picture. I'm understanding what it is you're contributing as a designer to the project, because I know that some of it's out of your control. It's obviously out of your control what the client budget is and that kind of thing.
Yep.
If they can afford really cool stuff, or if they were even like allowing you to have a little bit of color in there. That's not really the designers. So you have to read between the lines to make sure you're finding the best design projects and how the designer was able to innovate in the ways they could so that you're rewarding the right things. And we'll be able to go out there in January and attend the gala, which will be very nice to see all these designers who worked so hard and deserve the recognition that they're getting from the magazine. So
That's
it's
awesome.
exciting. Yeah, very exciting.
That's really
But I've been talking, and I realized that I should probably say too that as of December 6th, interior design community is 12 years old.
Woohoo!
I know. 12 years old. Practically a teenager. We're in our tween years. We're going to get an attitude this year.
This is your Cinderella year. So they
Yes.
call it. Nice.
Not going to get our boobs in.
Yes. Oh man, I'm dealing with that now. Attitude.
I know.
Boobs and attitude. Oh
What's
man.
happening for everybody this year from interior design community? You just wait. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. We're thinking about all the things that we have accomplished and where we came from and where we are going, and it's just very exciting to see the changes that we're able to make. I really, one of the things I wanted to talk about in this episode too, if we could, was that this was such a passion project for me. I stumbled into, I was watching this article today, or it was like a TikTok or something, of a director who, I think it was like, I forget, it's like 1950s, like famous director. And he said like, the interviewer was basically saying like, what is it that made you feel like you could come in? It was like Orson Welles or something. And what made you think you could just direct and do that?
Mm.
And he said, ignorance. I think if you don't know about a profession, you can go in and make radical changes because you don't know that you're upsetting the apple cart. And I think so often that's really what happened with me and interior design community. I had no idea that I was doing anything special. I was just thinking I needed a place to share information with designers. And I thought, I'll just start a little community. I'll share what I'm doing that's working. They'll share what they're doing that's working. That'll be really good for all of us if we learn how to do this stuff together.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I honestly really didn't know that there was any sort of gatekeeping that was happening or that there were people not sharing information and that this was going to be controversial thing. I had really no idea. And I think that ignorance made it so that I just didn't see those obstacles in any way. And what's amazing about it is that we've been embraced by very famous designers, very average designers, design students. Like we've been embraced by the entire industry because we've
Yeah.
just put our way in there, our foot in there and just like stumbling along and trying to help in every way we can. And just being thoughtful and listening and making strides to make any positive change. But in that, I had my personal story was that I had my husband and I had a one child, but my brother was an addict, and so we had his three children come to live with us right around the same time interior design community happened. So in some ways, I was able to do a lot of this, but I was also not able to do as much as I wanted to do because obviously when you have kids who have that kind of background, and you know this, like special accommodations need to happen. And we really wanted to focus on getting help for them, making sure they had therapy, doing things that I needed to. But every designer out there has some of this stuff, right? Like every parent is trying to manage being like the family brain, the family calendar in their head,
Yeah.
as well as running a business, as
Hmm.
well as doing everything. We all have our life challenges. So some of us have gone through illness, some of us have gone through divorce, ups and downs with family members, and maintaining these businesses. And it's hard to compartmentalize in a stressful job. It's hard
Hmm.
to make sure you're doing all of those things. And so I just really want to recognize that interior design community, we have, stumbled in, we made impressions, we made waves, we talked, made changes, but I'm at a really interesting spot in my life because my kids are older and I
Yep.
now have the ability to do some of the things I've always wanted to do for interior design community. And you're going to see a lot more of us and a lot more changes because I was in the weeds for so long, the parenting weeds, and now I'm through that. But I recognize that even the people that are in volunteering for interior design community, being part of interior design community, are going through some of that stuff too. And that I want you to all to feel comfortable and understanding that I get it. Like I absolutely
Yeah.
understand and I believe truly, obviously, the family comes first before anything, and your health comes first. I've watched designers who've gone through lots of different things through these last 12 years, and I can reflect and say, we all get through it together. And that's
Yeah.
the beauty of the community, right? We all get through it by being supportive of one another, by caring for more than one another, by being willing to lend a hand, by giving someone even an hour of your time to just talk and
Talk. Yeah.
to let it out, all the
Yeah.
frustration.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just yeah. No. And I
Yeah.
think that's people don't. It's not like people are. Obviously, nobody's gonna say forsake their family, but I think that's one of the benefits, the beauty of the community is you look forward to connecting with someone or someone's from the community. So it's whatever I can do to participate in whatever's going on, I think people are going to do because of this environment that you've created, this environment that you've nurtured and fostered. While I know you understand like you said, what people have going on, I think this for people, from what I see, it's a benefit. It gives back to people what they didn't have before. So it's almost, yeah, family stressing me out. These things are happening. But if I don't spend some time connecting with the community, whether it's via Facebook, whether it's at market, then I'm going to lose it. So I have to, because
Yeah.
I need to know that there's somebody else
Well, for
out
me,
there
that was
that's
a
going
lot
through
this
this.
was.
Yeah.
This was a
Yeah.
lot of what this was. I was it was such an outlet for me. I'm a person that needs a project and needs to be thinking about things, bigger things
Yep.
than just like spelling words. And that's
I get
important to
it.
me. I'm a doer. I want to make sure that
Yeah.
she gets 100 on her spelling words.
No, I get it.
But at the same time, I need to be thinking about things that are bigger than that. And so nurturing this all along and then having it, it's been such an amazing thing. I was just talking to my husband about it. I was like, for so many women and are out there, because for all intents and purposes, you could say that I was a housewife this entire time. I was home with my kids. I took care. I was the one planning groceries. I was the one making sure people got to doctor's appointments and after school sports and taking care of everything. And I know there are a lot of designers who are in that spot too, but
Yeah.
also working full time. That's what I felt like. I interior design
Yeah.
community, and then I was doing this raising children thing that's so important, and you want to make sure you're doing a great job at that too. And with 4 kids, that's a lot of like homework assignments and things to check off and
Mm.
school, backpacks to fill and all of that. I get it. And I get needing that outlet. And absolutely, interior design community was a huge outlet for me. It was allowed me to have a space where it wasn't like people didn't want things from me, because I do think that obviously I was giving an interior design
Yeah.
community, a mothering an interior design community
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the level of conversation, the creativity, the art of it all, the, you know,
It's just the environment that was
the environment.
that's just been created. There was no pretense on your part. There was no agenda. And
No,
so people felt truly comfortable to just be who they were or who they are. And so, like I've said to you a million times before, sometimes that relief comes from not even a conversation. It comes from that 3 a.m. scroll that, oh my God, that designer who's here is going through the same thing that I'm going through. Okay, I can go to bed. I can sleep
right.
because they just posted that they had the same issue. So now I can sleep because I've had 2 weeks of sleepless nights, and now I see that they've had the same thing. I'm not crazy. I should stand my ground. Good night. Sometimes it's just, but that means the world to a lot of designers because we weren't getting that before. No,
No.
and we don't get that anywhere else. Nowhere else that's doing that.
I think that there are so many places, and I don't mean this to be negative, because there are places that they have to have an agenda, because that is what they're trying to build.
Okay.
And so that's not necessarily a bad thing that there is an agenda. Maybe it's a coaching program and they're a really great
Yeah.
coach. And that
Yeah.
is their goal of having that community, is to sell coaching because they're a really great coach and they're offering really great things to their members. Or
Got it.
it could be a local chapter thing where I know we work with an interior design society a bit, and their I love their organization. I think they're fantastic. I love the NKBA. I think they're fantastic. And there's so much that those local designers can get from those connections with the brands and connections with each other. And I see that there's a lot of people doing community in a lot of different ways. I think we were different in that we just were like adjunct to that. We are not trying to
Compete.
we're trying to help those organizations be even more successful.
Exactly. We want you to
We're
do really well there. What do you
absolutely.
need to do well there? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you need? I don't mind sitting and having a meeting with them and saying, "Look, what can we give you guys so that those chapters are even better, or that those people who are volunteering are feeling like the volunteering is a benefit to their career?" Because
Yep.
you have to think of all the things that you have to think of a designer as this holistic person. And when I think of what is it interior design community is there for, it comes down to me, honestly, just one sentence. We interior design community's sole purpose is to make the lives of interior designers better. That's it. Like, we care about your whole life. What's going on with your family? What's going on with your scheduling? How are you able to do it all? How are you able to manage the business? Are you okay? Are you health wise okay? Are you mentally okay? Are you getting enough exercise and walking and eating right and feeling good about yourself? Are you able to compartmentalize the emails that you're getting in? Like, we literally care. I think about this stuff all day long. It's really all I think about is because I'm in a very unique situation where I talk to designers every day. I hear their problems every day through the community. I have private conversations that never go out to Instagram or Facebook with hundreds and hundreds of designers who bring me problems and share their deepest fears and worries and secrets about themselves and what's going on with their families. And I feel like we were able to fit this space that allowed people to be themselves really and not pretend.
And
I mean,
they have to be something else, but also more importantly, n- feel that feel like they can be we provide a space where people can be vulnerable. Because
right,
see, they're being honest or truthful and being vulnerable are two different things, right?
right,
There's a space here you created a space where people can be vulnerable because they know you will sit in that feeling with them. No judgment, no heat,
right.
no judgment.
And it will
And
never go anywhere. If you're
and
privately
you'll really
talking to
try
me and
to,
you don't want it to go anywhere,
yeah. And honestly,
yeah.
and you will really try to help them figure out
This is my puppy,
how
by the way. She
how to
knows
get
me.
out of it. Yeah, how to get out of that thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I think that's the benefit, you
Yeah. And
know?
sometimes it's just that encouraging word. It's just that feeling like, this is why you're doing this. This is the path. Because we none of us
Sometimes
can
it's just
control what's
no,
going to happen.
sometimes it's just a conversation, honestly, because sometimes that person has been literally holding whatever that is that they've shared with you, they have not been able to tell anybody, and they've been underwater in a pool, and the fact that they could come to you and share it has been releasing that. They've been
Right.
holding their breath. So
Right.
even if there was no feedback from you, even if there was no solution or no strategy session, just the fact that they were comfortable enough, you made it comfortable enough for them to share, that in itself pushed the needle forward. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
We're hopeful that it's whatever it is that designer needs in that moment, whether that is that shoulder to cry on, whether it is that quick advice to do the thing you already know you need to do. Because a lot of times that's what it is, right? It's you want to do this thing and you need other people to say, yep, that's what you need to
that you
do.
should do. Yep,
Because you
that's
need
what you should do.
permission, like
Yeah.
from others, that that's okay. If you want to fire that client, go right ahead. You know what I mean? Like I would too. It's like when you are having a fight with your husband and you're like calling your best friend and you want them to be like, what a jerk. You want your friends to say, what a jerk this person
That's
is.
right.
That's not right.
Exactly.
And maybe you
Exactly.
won't divorce your husband, but
But right. You want
but
them
you
to
needed someone to say, yes, that wasn't okay. And I think a lot of that is important. And sometimes I worried about, is it coming across negative? Is it because I don't want people to feel like it's a negative headspace because sometimes we are making a lot of jokes and being funny and whatnot. But I really think I'm hoping that everyone gets out of it that it's, that's that sort of safe area that you can let go and be yourself
yeah.
and have and be vulnerable like you said and share the information with each other and with me and know that it really truly is confidential and we're just trying to help everybody and we're trying to make the world a little bit better as we do it and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And it's exciting to see how far we've come and how far we have to go that and what we could do to make those changes. I have had some really great conversations with reps and with brands about how they're changing policies based on the conversations that happen in the interior design community because they didn't really understand when you're removed enough from it you don't really understand exactly what that designer is going through on a day-to-day basis, so how they can
Exactly.
support a designer and how they can make those changes to make designers feel more comfortable, feel more at ease.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
No,
it's
yeah. I
really
mean,
great. It's really great. We're very excited about all the things that we have in the future to do. And we want you to know too, if you're listening now and you're on Instagram or you just want to message me, anytime you have an idea about what could help for interior designers, or you are going through something yourselves and you're thinking, what is if I had just this little bit of thing, or if I could do this, I would be in a much better situation. You're all part of this. That's the whole point of the community. That's how we're setting it up so that we have a great board team, but really we're setting it up in such a way that if if I step down someday, whatever happened, that the community still belongs to all of you, every one of you, from design student all the way up to design celebrity. The community is yours and it needs to go the way that you think it should go. So if you have ideas and you want to volunteer or you want to be a part of something, you have an idea that could help the community, you let us know. Contact Nile, contact me, contact any one of us. We're
Yeah.
inclusive. We're very inclusive. We want you to feel like your ideas matter and that you matter. And certainly if you have a good idea that you think would be beneficial to designers, I know personally, I don't have all the answers. I may pretend I do sometimes, but I don't.
You have a lot of good ones, let me just say. A lot of good ones. A
Uh,
lot.
yeah, but it's like there's always those things that I think about that I think that are helpful. I want to help holistically the designer because I think about that we have 70% women and 30% men, and like, what does that mean? And how
That
can we,
means
yeah,
there's a lot of people not, and this is no disrespect to men, but there's a lot of people not not taking care of themselves because
right,
women have an innate sense to always take care of everybody but themselves. And there could be people in the room, they're always going to be checking on everybody in the room but themselves. And that's just who they are. And that's not to dumb women down or say that women are only caregivers, but that's just how women are. They are always looking out for everyone except for themselves. And so in an industry where we are problem solvers, that I think only heightens it. I think
I do too.
which makes this work even more important,
I
you
think so
know?
too. That's really the foundation of why we started this podcast was we were like, the designers feel very stressed right now post COVID. There's a lot of conversations about burnout. There's a lot of conversations about feeling like I don't know how many times I've read the clients have never acted like this before. They're just more demanding. They're just more short tempered. They're
Yeah.
just don't understand the process even more.
Yeah.
And they're expecting more or less and very vocal about it. And
It's so funny to me because it's the whole like thesis thing on a greater level. When I was doing my thesis for graduate school, one of the things we talked about was like how students in college transfer into design and then transfer out because one of the things that they're not understanding is design is still a handmade profession. And that while we have a lot of really great tools that help us execute the actual creative process, it comes from in between our ears, right? There's nothing that speeds that up. There's nothing that you can do to speed up the creative process. And so while there's an app for a lot of stuff where you can get instant answers, there is no instant solution for creativity.
right.
And people
And there
get
shouldn't be,
frustrated.
by the way. There shouldn't be.
And
And
there shouldn't be. And but people get frustrated by that because I can't you mean I can't instantly space plan this? I can't instantly get an answer for what the perfect solution is here. And so I think now that we live in a world, especially post COVID, where things became way more convenient, DoorDash, Instacart, laundry to your door. I think clients have that same expectation that students had, right? They have that same expectation of us. What do you mean it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks for it? Like, why can't it be instant? Like everything else in my life is instant. It's because very little in the world is what we do. It's handmade, right? You go to if you wait in the ER for a long time, you're having a fit, or the doc. That's nobody wants to wait. So for
right.
us to come along and say, you have to wait, that's who does that anymore? Nobody waits anymore.
Right. But the
So,
quality difference of waiting and I
oh my
was
God,
walking
it's
my daughter
huge.
through High Point and I was showing her furniture and we were in a section that had like lower end commercial furniture versus we went to Chelsea House and sat down on the furniture there. We're talking like Sierra Lane stuff. And I was showing her like it can look very similar. It can look almost like it's identical. The sofa can look from viewing it that it looks the same. and then you can sit on it and you can feel it, and
Yep.
it's not. It's
Yep.
instantly, this is not the same. You're comparing apples to oranges, even though they look both like apples. You know what I mean? And that's what, to me, quality furniture versus just furniture is. I mean, a lot of furniture out there looks fine, looks great. And then you sit on it and then try sitting on it in 6 months from now. Try sitting on it
Yeah.
every year from now,
Yeah.
And it's the designer that's able to say, look, I know it takes a little bit longer, but it actually, it it's so much better quality that you're going to be happier with it long. You're not going to be putting it up on Facebook Marketplace in a year because you hate it
Yep.
and it's uncomfortable to sit on. And you're spending the most time in your home on your sofas and chairs and beds, things you sit down on that are in your high traffic areas. That's where you should spend it. And designers are so great about that. If it's a chair and for us, we have a parlor. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we have a
Yep.
chaise in the parlor. It
Yep.
it was, I bought it on Facebook Marketplace. You know
Yep.
what I mean? It
I know.
wasn't,
I'm with you. I tell people that
you know
all
what
the
I mean?
time. Your formal living room, maybe your entry foyer that you don't use because maybe you use the family entrance on the side. We can go for looks there because you're not
Right.
using that all the time. That's like your Christmas entrance, your whatever. Great, let's go for. But your family room, right? Your eating kitchen. If you never use the dining room, but you're always eating in the kitchen, like we've got to go for function, right? We want it to
Right.
look good, but it's got to be a workhorse. I'm totally with you. Yeah,
Yes.
totally with
And it's a
you.
designer that knows the quality of those pieces and who has that quality and who doesn't. So you might be able to look through like all the different vendors at High Point Market, and you could look at their websites and you could say, wow, this, but a designer will go, this is low end, this is mid, this is high end. Here's the price range for all. And they, in their heads, will tell you all the price ranges for all of it. And they're on the scout for looking for those deals where it's really well made at a really good price at every market. That is what designers are trying to find when they're going to a trade show, is like, what are these finds that are, you know, at least in the mid range, but high quality as I can get them.
Mm.
And from a reliable company. That's the other factor. I think it's so awesome that the designers are getting it and that we're treating this like it's, and that like it's that kind of resource for designers too, that they
Yeah,
can understand this information, can have these conversations, they can care about quality. Because I do think like the other part of this mission that I have is not just like, how can I, and part of improving interior designers' lives is going to be cracking the nut of how clients think of interior designers. What does that as a resource look like? Why do you hire designers? How can we educate the market about why they hire designers and why a designer should be that first person you're
that-
hiring before you've
yeah.
even broken ground if you're a builder?
I literally just said this to my current client the other day because I don't want to wait another 4 months. I said 4 months is quick. 4 months. I said 4 months is actually very quick. Your house is almost 6,000 square feet. Do you know for a house your size, you'd be in bed with a designer for at least a year? I said I had clients that have a 3,500 square foot home in Jersey, and we were in bed for a year and a half. I said so 4 months is very quick. I said this is why I tell clients when you find your dirt, find me. You
Right,
have to before you do anything else. Like oh,
right,
that's the lot. Okay, you got to call me right away.
right.
Like
You don't want to start thinking about furniture when you have an empty house.
no, because
No.
I'm like 2 days waiting for furniture for 2 days feels like 2 years when you have an empty
Sure,
house. Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But you can have things that are slapped together with plywood and staples, or
You know,
you can have quality furniture, and you can't have that fast. It's just not possible to
nope.
have really made things, and you will know the difference. You might not know the difference the first month you're sitting on the furniture, but within 6 months, and honestly, like, most people can tell right away. You can tell when
Oh
you're sitting
yeah,
on really nice
oh yeah,
furniture. You sit down and you're like, "Oh, okay."
oh
You
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's
know
a
what I
huge
mean?
difference. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
huge difference. Yeah,
there's a huge difference, and honestly, you can get really quality furniture at different price points too. People who are out there on the market who are not fully educated consumers on design will think that like Pottery Barn is high end. You know what I mean? I know. But that's what we
It's
have
great
as a
marketing.
battle, right?
Yeah.
That's what they know. That's what,
Yeah.
and when we were talking in market, people forget the number one furniture manufacturer in the country is Ashley Furniture. That is what people think of as quality furniture. Ashley Furniture is like what an average person goes out and thinks that they're just going to go. And by the way, you can go to Ashley Furniture and we 12 weeks for your furniture as well. Okay. So it's not like they're not waiting too, but they think that is because the average consumer doesn't go to design
That
centers. They don't
right.
know what
No, they
Cabot
don't.
is. They don't know what Sierra Lane is. They don't know what Chelsea House is. It's a lot of that's the tricky part about design is that it's not smoke and mirrors, that there are all these product lines that the average everyday consumer doesn't have access to and doesn't know that it's luxury, so it hasn't built a brand name for itself within consumers. Like it's not Louis Vuitton, it's not Christian Dior. It
That's
hasn't
really
built up that name.
Yeah, that's so interesting. You bring that. This has to be. I think we have to do a podcast
We
showing
do.
this because this is a really now that you positioned it like this, that's such a good point because you're right. Because you can go out and buy, oh God, I don't know bags like this, but you can buy a Telfar bag, right?
Yes.
You can buy a Coach bag.
Right.
You can buy an Hermes bag. But everybody knows and
The
I'm sure there's
difference
a
is
bag,
that.
and I'm sure there's a bag even lower than a Telfar in
Oh,
terms of
yeah.
price point, right? So you can buy any of those bags and everybody knows the difference. Nobody's going to question the Hermes bag, the difference in the Hermes or whatever bag you decide, if it's a Givenchy, whatever. Nobody's going to question that. But people will put the Ashley sofa and the Henrendon or whoever all on the same level. They'll say, oh, that's the same, that's the same thing. And
No. And
no, it's
designers
not.
know that, but because those to the trade brands haven't directly marketed to consumers. So when you're going to High Point Market, you're basically going to Fashion Week for furniture
Yep.
and you're seeing brands that are high end that you're not that and there is that they're handmade, they're high quality, the materials are excellent. So when you're comparing that to a mass produced product that is made overseas and is made cheaply, then that's the kind of it's in it. I honestly want to say it's the same vein as Louis Vuitton because Louis Vuitton used to be like all leather, right? But now it's a lot of it's vinyl that's plastic coated and it's made it overseas as well. So it's like just because the name is there of quality doesn't mean necessarily that that is actually handmade anymore or that it is the same quality anymore. Because a lot of times when you're talking about huge marketing budgets from these big companies, then that's what the money is going towards. It's the marketing budget that made you think that Pottery Barn is excellent furniture. That's what you're buying is the Pottery Barn name.
Yep.
And your friends recognize Pottery Barn and Williams Sonoma and maybe Z Gallery or something like that,
Oh,
but they don't
oh,
know Sierra Lane. They don't know
no,
Chelsea House. They don't know.
no.
And so when you're buying it, you're not getting that gooey luxury. Everybody knows that this is this sofa. You're not getting the
Yep.
bragging rights along with
No.
the quality. So there's a lot of things that we need to do, I think, as an industry to start thinking about that and educating the market to understand where the luxury is. Because I think there's a lot of like, we talk about greenwashing of products that are supposed to be eco-friendly. There's luxury washing as well. Like there's like people pretending to be luxury brands that are just not luxury. And, when you're talking about luxury, you're talking about quality materials, period, and quality craftsmanship. Like that is what you're talking about. And there are really amazing brands that have excellent quality of craftsmanship, and designers know who those brands are. And they know at the different price points what those brands are. And it's really, we have to do a much better job of making sure the consumers know that. The consumers are aware of where their money should be spent because you can spend a lot of money in Pottery Barn.
Oh,
And
a whole lot of money in
you
pottery.
can, you can furnish your house.
I used to be the visual and display manager for a Pottery Barn, so I know.
You can spend some big bucks there. Yeah. And
Listen.
you'd have some regrets. You're going to have some regrets, at least in a
Yep.
few years. It's not going to hold up to those kids. It's not going to hold up to those dogs in your
Nope.
house. And so that's what the designers are thinking about is like, what does your lifestyle look like? What needs to happen so that you have pieces that frankly could be the same price as those pieces. So a lot of it is education. And we're thinking about that too. We're trying to, as a community, how do we educate brands? How do we help brands educate themselves? How do they enter into supplying tools for designers that will be better, like getting into the AI world, getting into the tech
It's a
world, the
whole like
automation world?
yeah, it's a whole like as you're talking about this, and like I said, I think we have to. Maybe it's a series of podcasts, but I think it's a whole. I don't want to say dance, but I think it's a whole shift around designers. We have to get out of this my value is in the product. My value is in the stuff. No, our value is in the service we provide. Like you said before, we get paid for what we know, not what we do. And
Right.
so I think that's the shift we have to make. And so whether you buy one thing from me or none from me or a whole house from me, the value is still the same
Yeah.
because you're
It's what you
getting my
know. Oh,
expertise.
so much. Every designer
Exactly.
you talk to is a catalog of information
Exactly.
about how products are made,
Yeah.
literally how they are
Yeah.
made.
That we have to make that shift. And then I think manufacturers and vendors have to make a shift where it's like the product, and I think a lot of them have made the shift, but more need to. More product needs to be put in designers' hands. Like this whole, you have to have a brick and mortar.
Right.
That's got to go away. You've got to allow designers to have access to the product. I don't care how you do it, whether it's tiered or whatever, because the more there aren't as many brick and mortars as there used to be. So the
Right.
more access we have to the luxury product, the more education we can give to the client about the luxury
Right.
product.
And
You know what I
I
mean?
really truly believe once they sit on that chair or sit on that sofa and they see the difference, I am convinced they will understand why designers are specifying the materials that they're specifying, why they care about the craftsmanship the way that they do. And designers, like you said, like you're the same boat. You will understand if it's not an area that's getting use and you can just buy something you love that just looks pretty in that area and it's fine, that's fine. You might be in a different space to your life where you have 7 bedrooms, but you're an empty nester and those bedrooms are getting maybe slept in at Christmas time and that's it. You don't need to go crazy on the beds in there and the
Exactly.
chairs in there, you know what I mean? But your primary suite should be amazing. You're
Yeah,
sleeping in there, you're
exactly.
enjoying that
Exactly.
space. The sheets should be amazing, the bed should be amazing. That's your space.
Exactly.
The designers will help you with that, and I think we need to do a great job educating designers about how to transfer that information to clients so that it's such a no-brainer for designers to be a part of that process because I really believe designers save clients money because you know where they can save money and where they can't and where when saving money which brands to use that are not going to fall apart on them depending on the use of it. You know what I mean? So it might be a mid to low
Yep.
range chair that you're putting in a room that you don't use very often, but the dog sits on there all the time, jumps up there.
Yep.
You're going to know here's the material that I would suggest for that because the dog's going to be jumping on there all the time and this is what to use. So,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
it's the truth. The clients that have been the clients that have been the happiest and have come in on budget, not a penny over, have been the ones that have said, "Here's my budget. Here's what I like. Go." And have not gotten in the way at all. Have not been like, "Oh, but I need to be involved." Like they're involved in picking things and saying yes or
sure,
no,
sure.
but not every little detail and scrutinizing every. Nope.
No, that
And
delays
there's
the
been no issue.
process and it ends up
Hmm.
costing them more and they don't
Yep.
understand why it costs you more because you've stopped the designer from being able to shift through all of those materials. Now they have to stop that, recreate, reshift. And that was actually one of the things that a designer said that should be in this guide is that you should tell potential clients that any one change affects all of the rest of the design process. So it
It
could be like you're taking out one chair, you're putting in a different chair after the design is already done. Now that chair maybe has a different undertone, maybe it has a different size a little bit. Maybe it,
I tell
is
clients all the time, like, think of it like genealogy. I tell them, I'm like, look, your house is like a family. Some things are going to be identical twins, some things are going to be distant cousins, but everything is related. If you tell me to revise one thing, it changes. It
the whole thing.
literally changes the family.
It's
Like,
a house of
so
cards,
yes, exactly. And you're
Yeah.
right. That should be in there.
Yes.
Because that's a huge thing, honestly, that people think. It's one of the things that people will say, I don't understand. I just asked you to change the sofa. Why is it taking you a week? Because I have to go back and check everything else. It's that one sofa.
Everything.
And
How does the rug work with it? How do the other chairs work with it? How does the lamp work with it? Because this could be just, it's slightly different and it's going to have a slightly different feel. And you want to make sure it's just not as simple. And it sounds simple, but it's like you're creating a painting and you've just changed a color in there, or even like just a slight change in a shape, it affects everything else. So you have to
yep,
think about it in that way. And I know it's picky, but and designers, the client thinks I'm not that picky. It can be the difference between you loving it and not loving it, or not feeling
yeah,
like it's perfect. You know what I mean? And that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
goal,
yeah,
is that they're taking in everything you're thinking and they're trying to translate that to your perfect space. So when it's less than perfect, then it feels like you're not delivering that promise that we're going to make this room perfect for you.
right.
So, and that means there's like a responsibility to all of those pieces. So, absolutely. But yes, we're finishing up right now, but I wanted to tell you all of where we've been, where we're going, and let you know that you're all welcome to be part of that. So make sure you reach out
Yes,
to us
come along. Yes,
anytime. Come along for the ride. Thank you, Nile, for your time, and I will
thank
see everybody
you.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.